South Africa! Dumelang Sambanani, hello South Africa. A very warm welcome to Expressions. This is definitely the place for you to air your views. South Africa is so excited because the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games have actually begun. And this is where our Olympians are going to be performing on the biggest sporting stage that we've seen in a very long time. I'm your host, Jacqueline Mapala.
And I'm your host, Masango. Now, the stage is set for one of the biggest sporting events in the sporting calendar, Muntomosha. I can tell you right now, Team South Africa is in Tokyo, Japan, ready to fly the South African flag high. Kodwa siyabuza ke, does Team South Africa get the support that they so need? Our first stop takes us to Pretoria, where we're catching up with Shaun Maswanganyi, who's going to be representing South Africa. We find out what goes on into his preparation, how he remains so disciplined as well. What do you have to say about the conversations that we're having namhlanje? Do participate in Kundlen Zethu Zokuxhumana. Here's what went down.
And we're off the way cleanly. Maswanganyi out very well. Lane number 7 is Houston teammate Hamberlin also doing well. It is Maswanganyi and Hamberlin as Houston goes 1-2.
Speak to me about how are you feeling at this moment right now?
I mean, for the most part, I've been taking my training very seriously, very carefully, and I've been making sure every competition I go into I execute. It's been a very long season, probably my longest season I've ever had, especially compared to my South African season. Normally my South African season would come from January all the way till to like March, May maybe, but it's June now, July, and I'm still going, and
I'm really intrigued about how does sport take you so far. I know there's people, Abantabasha, who are watching the show, Njengamanji, who are thinking, Ish, uzokijima, how's that going to pay my bills?
With sports, a lot of people are invested in sports. A lot of people watch sport. A lot of money is put into sport. So same way, it can just be like a high school thing even. You can get a scholarship and get your tuition paid for all the way throughout to high school, even like, university. So there's a lot of money in sports, and sports can actually get a lot done. It's not just, getting on the field, throwing a soccer ball around or, shooting a ball around, because where there's a lot of viewers, there's money.
So you've clinched a spot for the 100-meter and the 200-meter. Tell me about it. How did that happen?
So I think it was at a meet at regionals. We had regionals just after my conference meet, where I just ran a wind-assisted 987 and a 1993, where I basically almost broke the SA record if the wind was legal.
What? What?
But 2 weeks later after that, regionals came, and it was at Texas A&M. Qualifies for nationals, and then I ran 10:04 legal with 0.0 wind, and I ran 20.19 with legal wind as well. And then I was excited. I was over the moon.
Now you a boy from SOA too, so moving from SOA to fourways and now the world. Tell me about it. How has that transition been?
I mean, for the most part, they always say you're a product of your environment. So, growing up in Soweto, there's not many people you could really look up to. But, you know, as I changed environments, as I saw my mom coming up and seeing, you know, the work she does and sacrifice, you know, I realized that, you know, I also need to put in work and need to find something that I'm really passionate in, especially if it's sports, because I was always good in sports. And, you know, it was a blessing that, you know, my mom got different opportunities. She took advantage of that. Obviously, I changed schools and I found myself in St. Albans College, where I actually started track and field. My coach saw me basically doing damage on the rugby field, and he's like, you know what, I think I can do something special with you on long jump and sprints.
Talk to me about the discipline that comes with everything.
I mean, building your brand is simple things, from watching what you post, you know, what you put out there, because you know your digital footprint is everything. So as well as, you know, I knew already when I wanted to go to Houston, my Coach Carl was already telling me that, you know, you need to build your brand, you need to make sure you're out there, you know, it must be a natural thing. That's why, you know, I started things like a YouTube channel. I started posting more on Instagram, letting people like keep up to date with me and what's happening with me. And, you know, a lot of people have been actually invested, you know, and, you know, just seeing the growth. I literally, my followers went from 2,000 to 10,000 within a couple of months. And, you know, just by me being more out there, letting the people know more about me and, you know, putting myself forward.
So I want us to also talk about how you are now at, you know, a foreign country, and in comes a global pandemic. There's been COVID. How have you been keeping safe? How have you been making sure that you're at your optimal, able to perform? Tell me more about that.
I mean, it's been tough, especially leaving in September. Literally, it was peak COVID, and, you know, I think Cyril opened the country 2-3 days later, and, you know, for the most part, I was literally just staying at home, making sure that, you know, I'm not out there, you know, I'm not putting myself at risk of contracting COVID-19.
Okay, let's talk about Carl Lewis and how you guys met.
So essentially, I think it was around 2019, mid-matric year. I was thinking, you know, where do I really want to go with this? You know, do I want to go forward to track and field, or do I want to just, you know, just focus on my academics and stay in a university in South Africa? And I realized the best balance I would be able to find that is in the US. So I reached out through a scholarship meter program, and then, you know, I spoke to them and they put me in contact with a variety of schools. I think the name of the company was ASM. I went through ASM, they put me in control, and, you know, I pretty much managed like the offers I was getting. I had like over 40 schools reach out, and then I had my top 5, and then obviously Carl Lewis and Leroy Burrell reached out to me around about December time 2019, and then, you know, we spoke on the call, and, you know, they told me all about Houston, and I told them, okay, I'll be interested to visit. And then I think around about January last year, I went there officially for my visit. You know, I saw everything, the facilities, the coaching staff, the other supporting staff, and I pretty much loved the environment over there. And, you know, since then, you know, Carl and I, as I said, we've literally been the closest. You know, he was coaching me, inverted commas, you know, talking to me, telling me about everything I need to know, and, you know, just giving me wisdom and knowledge.
So now there are young people watching you right now in Expressions thinking, I might want to be like Shaun. I want to do something like that guy. I want to get into sports. What would you say to them?
Trust yourself, trust your work ethic, make the necessary sacrifices to be able to pretty much like enhance yourself or put yourself in a better position for the future.
Part 2 is representing South Africa. How does that make you feel?
We're quite excited about that, man. And we've been supporting him since he was still young. I've been training him since he was young, playing around with him, pushing him into sports. So I used to play rugby myself, so I wanted him to go that route. Yeah. But he's like, no, I'm going the other way, which is the athletics ways. But he's doing well for himself, and I'm very, very proud of him.
Speak to young people as well as parents in Makaya right now who are, you know, having conversations about possibly making a career out of sports right now, where you have Abazali who are maybe also discouraging that. What would you say to such parents right now?
If your kid's into sports, if he's talented, support him, let him grow, give him all the support that you possibly can. Yeah. And then,
Tabang, your message to the young man heading off to Tokyo?
Do your best, remain humble, level-headed, and just give it your all.
So now I've been challenged, right? You're still social distancing, as you can see. I'm being challenged to run. Let's see how this goes. Ngeke on Expressions. No way. Go. You see, this is why they say you must just rather leave all this work to the professionals. Welcome back. You're still watching Expressions, your #1 youth current affairs show. Now, we continue to ask the big question, namhlanje, is Team South Africa, that's representing the country in Tokyo, Japan, for the Olympics, getting all the support that they so need? We're catching up with Hezekiel as well as Utshepo Tipe, who are going to be telling us what their take on this conversation that we're having today. What do you have to say? Participate in Gundlen Zethu Zokuxhumana. Here's a look at what happened with the conversation.
I was born in Poch, at the rural area. Then I moved from Boskop, which is the rural area. Then I went into Ikageng, the township. From there, that's where actually I really started doing athletics. From there, I was scouted to go to Poch Boys. I got a scholarship. I went to Poch Boys. That was around 92. Then from there, yeah, that's where it actually really started to kick off. Participated at the Olympic Games in 1996, got a silver medal, and yeah, I went on to participate in 3 more Olympics in 2000 and 2004. Got a silver medal at the World Champs 1999. I got 2 silver medals in 1994. At the Commonwealth Games in 1998, yeah.
Now, in a time that we also dealing, isn't it, about COVID, how has the journey been? Because there's preparation that goes into all of this and ensuring that our athletes are ready to go and compete.
As we know that most of the big competitions are in Europe, the Diamond Leagues, you know, we have the championships like the World Champs. There were several of African Champs competitions that were cancelled in 2020. Even in 2021, some of them were cancelled due to COVID.
Do you think that young people in sports in particular lack role models who are going to show them the way in order for them to reach their full potential?
You really need a mentor. It's not only in sports, business, life. You need somebody that you can look up to, that can guide you if you are moving in the wrong direction.
So see Expressions, we reach youth yonke yala eMzansi, and right now watching khona abantu abasha in the far-flung rural areas who dream of being Olympian gold medalists, who still need to get the platform. Bayakuthanda ukugijima, bayawathanda lama sport code amanye. How do we motivate them to say, first of all, we need to reach you guys and teach you Uguti, we can make a living out of sports. But second of all, we also want to motivate you to say, this can be a successful career path. What do we say to them?
It is not about where you come from. You can come from the rural areas, you can come from the towns, or you can come from the nice areas. Once you have that talent, you know, and as I said before, that the support, the education from the parents. Sometimes our parents, it's all the community that we live in. It's them that is really putting us down. But opportunities are there. I think each and every area, province in South Africa, there is schools and there is competitions for athletics here.
So, how many medals should Team South Africa bring?
They will bring medals back home. I'm not going to count how many medals, but I think they are capable of bringing medals here.
Yeah, I know they must bring those medals. We'll be holding a checklist for those medals.
Sure.
So, Butsabo Mangas, oxela mhlambe ngohambo lwakho, phecelezi your journey, kuyo yonke le ndlela trying to qualify for ama-Olympics nokuthi lihambe lafika kuphi?
Akere qualifying time for the Olympic 800 meters is 1:45.20. Then Kimatile 1:45.5. It means I was closed. Even the point system, I was hoping for get a point system, but I didn't make it. Never top 48, never 49.
So ushodule nje just ipoint elilodwa nje ukuthi ngabe nawe
Yeah.
manje nje use-Tokyo.
both sides.
Oh no man.
Kore ka nako le ka point system.
So kukwenza uzizwe njani konke lokho?
I'm disappointed, but in other side, I think Nesina ko right ya me gore ke go di Olympic even though ne ke batla ke wisha gore this year I'm willing gore ke because if nke ka sheba season ama this year nearly good. I thought even this year I go khona matters personal best.
Yeah.
But things didn't went according to the plan.
Yeah.
But I can say I have to go back and share what went wrong, because even now I'm still shocked. Is that really a kid Olympic?
Yeah, you are reflecting, you're picking yourself up, you're dusting yourself up. Uzoqhubekela phambili futhi. Kambe mangas tshela ukuthi where to from here?
From now, next day, kidi World Champs if I'm not mistaken. Then still simple, kinala and even 2024 is Olympic again.
Yeah.
Hopefully I will make it.
Ngicabanga ukuthi ama-athletes ethu ayalithola uxhaso from umphakathi, from the necessary organizations.
From upcoming athletes, good difficulty in order gore o khona gore o ka phumelela. Khona simple if already o there. But if all upcoming, it means for our accommodation it's in wena, traveling it's in wena, even Europe the expenses it's in wena.
Mhlambe mangasitshela about ifundo that you've taken out from this whole experience.
What I've learned doesn't mean every day things gonna go according to your plans. And you have to know that and accept if asena then what could be the problem?
What would you say to iqembu lelala eMzansi Africa that's representing us njengamanje at Tokyo?
For now, ke ba wishetsa lucky ba representer ba re proud.
What do you have to say about the conversations that we're having? We're asking if Team South Africa is getting enough support from us ahead of the Olympics that are taking place in Njengamanje. We're back after this.
So bronze for Japan's Suzuki Amuro, silver for South Africa's Bianca Buitendag, and gold to the United States' Carissa Moore.
You're still watching Expressions, your #1 youth current affairs show. We continue our conversation and asking a very important question as to whether, as a country, are we behind our Olympic team that is being represented at the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games that are taking place now. I had an amazing conversation with one of our own, Uneto, a sports analyst, and this is what he had to say. In terms of the support from everyday South Africans for our Olympic team, is the support there? Are we rallying behind our people?
I think we've got to note one important factor, the fact that things are not as normal as they should be. A lot of people talk about the new normal being the way of doing things, but the reality is that it's not as normal as it should be. The situation remains abnormal. Under normal circumstances, people would have gone to OR Tambo Airport to support the team as they jet off from here to Tokyo, but it isn't the case anymore. Instead, people are advised to stay safe, they are advised to stay at home. But under the circumstances, I think from the principles of sport point of view, I think they've done the best they could. I mean, just a practical example, the Senior African Athletic Championship initially were scheduled to take place in Algeria, and they cancelled that event citing COVID-19 concerns. Then Nigeria came on board to say, no, we will host. It was supposed to happen last month, but it since got cancelled. Now you can imagine the preparation stage before you even get to the point of support, because when you support, you must have had the noise that said Neto was partaking in this event and this is how he performed. But under the circumstances, I think our people already know that the games are live on SABC Sport Channel, OpenView Channel 124. They can access them there. They are there on the various radio stations of the SABC. So the platforms are there to bring Tokyo to South Africa. The platforms are there to bring Tokyo to the people.
What is the best way for South Africans, especially young South Africans, to still express that, hey, guys, we're with you, we are behind you. Yes, we can't be there physically, but we're there, we're still behind you nonetheless.
I think social media remains one big platform where I think people can express their views, because some of the news they break on social media before other media platforms, and it shows just how powerful it is, because that's an option that is safe, because even when you decide that you are not going to Galavant, you are going to support from home, you can just get onto your gadget, be it a cell phone or iPad, and express your views, express your support to the Olympians that are representing Team South Africa in the Olympics.
We've spoken about the fact that COVID has changed the environment, so there are no fans, there are no spectators. How does that affect performance when you don't have, the fans, cheering you on, and it's just completely empty and it's just completely in the way that it's going to be currently right now with no spectators in the stadiums and so forth?
Firstly, they had said that they were going to have at least 50% capacity of the venue, and then it since got cancelled because of COVID-19 disruptions. Now, you can imagine the mental shift from getting used to the fact that when I walk onto the field, extra performance comes from that cheering voice. But now, it's going to affect them badly, but it's one of those scenarios where you realize that it's not like this thing is only affecting me as an individual, but it's affecting all other opponents that are here. So that's when you then have to switch quickly as an athlete, as an Olympian, to say, this is the stage. Unfortunately, it does not have crowd, but I have to be my own crowd in the absence of the crowd from home, that I can actually feel their presence because they are nowhere close.
Neto, in terms of your predictions as a sports analyst and presenter and producer, what's your forecast? What are you expecting to see in terms of the performance of South African Olympians? How many goals can we expect? How many records are we going to break?
Athletes have to switch on and realize that we are here to represent the country, and the journey coming here was a very difficult journey. It was even extended by a full year, but finally we are here, and they have to go out there and perform.
That's a very, very big thank you for being part of the show, and I think giving us a very important perspective on our Olympians currently right now, who are doing their very best and giving their heart to the country and flying the flag really, really, really high. So thank you so much for this conversation.
It was awesome being here.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm going to put you on the spot. I want to put you on the hot seat. And since we are focusing on sports on the show, I'm going to allow you to look into the camera and close off our show. Is that okay?
It's always okay.
Okay, take it away.
Life is about 2 rules. Rule number 1, never give up. Rule number 2, always remember rule number 1. This is Expressions. Catch it live every Mondays at 5 p.m. Central African Time.
So we've come to the end of today's episode. I mean, some of the conversations that we were having were not only just inspiring, but the fact that South Africa is going to be flying an awesome flag on that particular stage, it gets my blood all excited and boiling. And, of course, as South Africans, it's important for us to support our national team and make sure we are behind them. And talking about support and love, as Expressions, we want to at least share our condolences to the family of our producer, Mamzanele, who unfortunately passed away. We give you love, we give you support. I think our hearts are broken, but she was a legend, a true legend.
Yeah, and we loved her. Thank you for everything, Mamzanele. Thank you so much for joining us in Bugeli Nawe Lapikaya. It's been a great show, and thank you for your participation in Kundlenze Tuzo Kumana. From all of us here at Expressions, till next time, Nsale kahle.